So, newbie, you're interested in joining up with the Avengers Alliance, are you? Fighting alongside the mightiest heroes that the Earth has to offer, becoming a member of S.H.I.E.L.D., and helping to keep the world a safe place? Well, you've come to the right place. I am Agent Pokeprof, and it's my job to prepare you for the dangerous job of being part of the Alliance. First things first is that you have to get to know your resources available to you, mostly found at the top of the UI on your screen. The furthest to the left, you'll see your experience bar. Your agents and heroes all have experience that they gain in battle, with more experience unlocking higher levels to further access weapons and tech that will benefit you and unlock a lot more for your heroes. We'll get a bit further into detail on that once we discuss the heroes respectively. The next couple of resources we'll cover can all be obtained in a multitude of places, but the most common is the Allies bar at the bottom of the screen. These are your fellow agents in the Alliance. They are your friends, your family, and allies in battle. When you visit them, you can obtain different resources from them that will further your own cause, and the more allies you can have, with the maximum being 50 at one time, the better off you and the entire world will be. Each ally can also send you resources personally, allowing you to stock up on potential useful equipment for future battles. With that said, let's look at each resource properly. To the right of your experience bar is your energy bar. Each agent has 60 energy that they can use to fight a battle, with every battle consuming 10 energy. Once that energy is used up, you either have to wait for it to refill, or use an energy token to replenish it a little faster. Naturally, it takes roughly 5 minutes for a single point of energy to return, meaning it takes a little under an hour for 10 energy to return to you, and a little under 6 for you to have a full supply back. Energy tokens come in 4 varieties: small, which refills 2 points, medium, which refills 10, large, which refills 25 points, and full, which does what it says on the tin. These can be obtained through promotions from the developers, one from boss battles and deploys, and the small energies can even be traded among allied agents, with this often considered to be the best use of the system giving agent items. Visiting the cities of your allies will also give you an energy refill, giving you back a single point. This makes it a good idea to visit your allies after you have exhausted your energy for the day. Next up is silver. Silver is the most basic resource available to use, being used in everything from research, development, and purchasing of new weapons and equipment, to being able to level up your heroes to better equip them in battle. Silver can be gained from just about anywhere, be it from battles, from your ally cities, to even quests that are given out. The best consistent way to gain silver is from the flight deck, however. The flight deck is a series of planes that you can send out to different parts of the world, each with a hero aboard it that can help out the locals in exchange for some silver for you and some experience for the hero. The best flights to do for silver are the 20-minute flights, whereas the best experience for your heroes will be the 10-minute flights. That said, it's highly suggested that you put your heroes on flights for however long you'll be absent from the Avengers. Below silver is gold. For everything silver can't buy, gold can. Everything from powerful limited time available weapons, to unlocking features your level would normally prevent you from accessing, to even the other resources in the game, gold can get you most anything. That said, gold is a much more precious resource, with your main source of it being a single gold given to you every time you level up. The other easiest way of attaining gold is through paying for it. Because of this aspect, it's highly suggested to hoard your gold for useful purchases. The next resource we'll go over is command points, commonly referred to as CP for short. CP is what you'll be using to obtain your heroes to join your alliance, allowing you to use them in battles at all times, instead of just team-ups. These points are mostly obtained from defeating bosses and winning them on the roulette, but there are other instances of them being available elsewhere. Nearly every hero in the game has a CP amount that you'll need to have before having them join your cause. Below the command points are the shield points. These points are, alongside silver, one of the most used resources available. Like with silver, items, research, and leveling your heroes will all require a certain amount of shield points, so having a good stock of them will allow you a near constant use of all these facilities. While shield points can be sent from allies, it's their cities that offer the best source of them. Ally-sent shield points only are single. The ones obtained from the cities triple that amount. As such, it's better not to send shield points as the other resources are more important to your fellow agents. The next resource is special, because it's not always in use. There are events that happen here called Special Operations, or Spec Ops for short, that happen roughly every other month or so, in which a new hero will be brought into the Alliance. This hero will join you as well, without any charge, so long as you finish the tasks given to you by the Spec Ops itself. This final resource, the Unstable ISO, is what's needed during Spec Ops, with all battles in Spec Ops requiring 10 Unstable ISO on top of the 10 energy already needed. Boss battles will require double that amount of ISO. Unstable ISO can be obtained from both allies' towns and their gifts, and is considered to be the best to send the resource constantly during a Spec Ops, allowing everyone to be able to recruit the new hero. An important thing to note is that you cannot carry Unstable ISO from one Spec Ops to another. Each Spec Ops will reset the total, which means you should always be sending it during a Spec Ops. Speaking of Spec Ops, there is a little bit more info that you'll need to know to ensure victory in each one. Each Spec Ops goal is to get a new hero to join the Alliance, and this is done through a series of tasks. These tasks can be anything from using a specific hero in battle, defeating a group of enemies, or collecting a specific item. One task that is almost always present though is the Epic Boss task. Epic bosses are special bosses within missions marked with a purple crown icon that can only be fought if you've finished every single encounter and every single deploy within that given mission. These deploys will often require at least 3 heroes, though sometimes more, that are required to be recruited to the Alliance before you can send them onto the field and unlock the epic boss. Some Spec Ops will also include a group boss, being so mighty and powerful it's often insane to try to fight them alone. It's best to call your allies here, as a group of 10 can always do better than a single agent alone. It should be noted that just causing the group boss to appear will count as you having dealt with it, and as such you do not need to fight it yourself to gain the rewards each one has. One of the possible rewards from group bosses are Lockboxes, and that's the last icon on top of the UI. Not all in the Alliance are heroes, Agent. Many villains have either sought redemption, protection, or exploitation by joining us. To acquire them, though, something more than CP is required. Lockboxes are offered during limited time events, and as such can only be attained with gold once these events are done with. Each lockbox can be opened to reveal many weapons and other items inside, but what you'll be looking for is the comic book covers. Each cover holds a piece of the story of why the villain has decided to join our ranks, and once you have collected all 8 pieces, they'll officially be recruited to your team, offering their services to you. When trying to get new covers, it's often best to open lockboxes 10 at a time. PvP, an event in which agents can fight each other and their allied heroes in a friendly competition for possible prizes, is another place where lockboxes can be obtained. Though not always, as sometimes they'll offer up a potential weapon that you must collect the pieces for instead. Either way, the first 5 battles of the day for PvP will give you 5 of the item for that particular PvP, with a spin for possible more rewards afterwards. Of course, if you're dedicated enough in PvP, you might win more rewards when the season finishes, which can include upwards to a new weapon, a new suit of armor, and early access to a new hero for the Alliance for free. It's about time that we went over heroes, as well as the information needed to use in battle. First, let's detail the command point costs. Everyone in the Alliance, barring lockbox villains, have a command point total that the agent must require before recruiting them to the field. This cost is dependent not only on how long the hero has been around, but also where the hero originally came from. Despite the fact there are quite a number of heroes that will join your team for cheaper, most heroes will demand at least 90 command points before considering recruitment. Heroes who are originally part of tournaments between agents and PvP will require upwards to 135 points, whereas heroes involved within Spec Ops will only join for 200 points. Any hero who is expired isn't recruitable at all unless otherwise notified. Once you've recruited a hero to your ranks, it's time to get to know them a bit better. Each hero has a class, levels, passive abilities, and skills that they can use in battle. Let's go over the one that everyone has first, class. There are a total of 6 classes that can affect how a battle can go. Each class has a rock, paper, scissors relationship with each other, with one class being strong against another while being weak to a third. This is usually seen in the class-specific buffs, special abilities that the classes can gain when they attack or are attacked by the class that is weak to them. With that, let's go over each one. Blasters, shown by the red explosion icon, are usually known for being among the higher damage heroes. Known for throwing out beams of energy, missiles, and other explosive goodness, they're not the most durable heroes in the game. The vast majority of blasters are also ranged fighters, with very few who are willing to get up and personal with their foes. When dealing with the Bruiser class, blasters get the focused attack bonus. This guarantees their next attack will be a critical hit, allowing them to do increased damage to their foes. They also ignore the Bruiser defensive stat. Bruisers, shown by the blue shield icon, are durable strong-arm heroes known for their ability to take a lot of damage while also dealing it out. Not the most evasive or quick heroes around, they are nevertheless shown their strength by buffing themselves up to increased heights before sending their enemies through concrete walls. Bruisers are even more frightening when dealing with Scrappers, gaining the Enraged buff, which increases all their stats. Because of this and the fact that the buff can stack up twice, Bruisers don't gain any additional effectiveness against Scrappers. Scrappers, shown by the yellow fist icon, tend to be among the more agile or finessed fighters. While not as hard-hitting as the previous 2 classes, they make up for it with their sheer number of attacks, as well as being able to more likely hit their targets, something many Bruisers tend to lack. Scrappers also love fighting infiltrators, as this gives them the close quarters combat buff. This buff not only gives them an additional attack after their first, but also gives them the ability of True Strike, something that ignores evasion techniques and abilities that the enemy can use. Infiltrators, shown by the purple boot icon, are even more agile than most Scrappers, often able to evade many attacks with ease. Many also grant themselves many evasion and accuracy related buffs, making them among the most hard to hit heroes around. They pay for this often with their lack of pure physical strength though. Infiltrators have a vendetta against tacticians, gaining the combat reflexes buff whenever they fight. This makes infiltrators extremely dangerous, as not only do they get a 30% power boost to all their attacks, they'll also counterattack any attack that strikes them on top of becoming stealthy, a special buff that we'll get into later. Tacticians, shown by the green spiral icon, are the heroes who tend to be the smartest among them all, using their wit to get ahead. They also tend to be the most flexible in terms of stats, with some being able to keep up with the infiltrators' agile natures, while others are able to go toe-to-toe with Bruisers. Tacticians are also known for being among the most dangerous of the classes because of their tactical maneuvers buff they gain when dealing with blasters, giving them a full second turn in battle to do with as they see fit. Generalists, shown by the white pentagon icon, are the rarest of the heroes and what you, the agent, will start out as. Generalists tend to have a fairly even stats across the board, usually favoring one that fits more of the character's personality than anything else. They also, unlike everyone else, do not gain an advantage or a disadvantage when dealing against another class. This can easily make them both an asset and a hindrance in battle. A common ability amongst many generalist heroes is their ability to either change or take the nature of other classes, so be incredibly wary when fighting these powerful heroes. It should be noted that some heroes can change their class outside of battle with the use of alternate uniforms. These alts not only give a heroes a new look, but also change their powers and abilities in battle, allowing you to create new strategies. While most of these alts can be bought with CP, some can only be earned through events or chapter masteries, where you finish everything within a chapter within Season 2, which requires a great deal of new heroes. While many heroes can be a great deal more powerful with these alts, unless they're a limited time offer, it's usually better to save your command points for heroes instead. With classes out of the way, levels are the most important thing to keep track of on your heroes. When a hero is first recruited to your alliance, they'll be at level 1 and be extremely limited in what they can offer you on the battlefield, as they'll only have access to their first attacks and nothing else. As you level them up though, they'll gain more attacks, the ability to equip ISOs, which I'll go over shortly, and even bonuses that will help you in PvP. The maximum level a hero can be is 14. After levels, the next feature that most heroes have are their passive abilities, and that's a lot easier to go over. Simply because whereas class is a standard that all heroes must fulfill, and thus are needed to know to fight effectively, passives are abilities that can be just about anything, meaning it's less important to focus on each individual effect as it is to simply pay attention to them in battle. Simply put, every hero barring one at the time of this recording has at least one passive ability which will differ from hero to hero. Some might be completely immune to burning, while others will heal naturally over time. It's up to you, Agent, to take note of what each hero is capable of. Of course, abilities wouldn't be much use without the hero's attacks. Each hero has 4 different attacks that they can have, though some heroes will have attacks that either change depending on the battle, or will simply have multiple functions. When a hero first joins you, they'll only have access to their first attack, but as they grow in level, each attack will be unlocked in turn. Paying attention to the details of each attack is vital in battle. The first detail you should keep track of, other than the attack's name, is its stamina cost. All heroes in the game have a stamina bar in battle, which will determine how often they can use attacks. Some attacks will cost more stamina than others, usually determined by either the power of the attack or the effects it can inflict on the enemy or your allies. The HP bar above the stamina bar shows the amount of health a hero or enemy has, and once that reaches 0, they'll be defeated. Usually. Next is the attack's target. This will tell you if you're going to only hit a single foe or an entire group of enemies. Some attacks won't even do damage, instead of making the hero in question or their allies stronger in battle, known as buffs, or weakening their enemies, known as debuffs. So sometimes the number that shows damage or healing done that you'll see on most skills will be absent from the pure buff or debuff abilities. You'll be able to see the actual number of buffs or debuffs on the health bar, with blue meaning buffs and red meaning debuffs, though it's best to look over at each hero specifically to ensure you know what you have on them. After that, you'll see number of hits. Some attacks aren't just a single punch or energy beam. A lot of heroes will strike their foes many times in a single attack. This means that instead of the damage being focused all in one go, which can miss and result in no damage being done whatsoever, attacks have a higher number of hits, meaning you'll get at least some damage on the enemy and affect them with your debuffs. Below that, we'll see the hit percentage and the crit percentage. This is essentially how accurate an attack will be on hitting the foe, as well as its chance of doing higher damage than normal. Then we get down to the type of attack, which is among the most important thing to keep in mind of. Type determines what exactly the attack is considered. So if you're fighting against an enemy that is, say, immune to fire type damage, you wouldn't exactly want to be using an attack that says fire on it, now would you? This is also very important to keep in mind, since many buffs and debuffs in the game work on the type of attack, such as the debuff Tenderize causing all slashing type attacks to do increased damage. Finally, we get to the effects of the attacks. Nearly every attack around will do something, be it giving a benefit to your allies, applying some weakness to the enemy, or simply altering how the battle will play out. They are by far too numerous to go over here, but you should make an effort to learn what they are capable of on the battlefield. It could very well mean the difference between victory or defeat. With that, there's one final thing we must go over before I let you take your leave, Agent. And that's the main thing we're fighting over here. Isotope 8. This is the reason for the sudden rise in villainous events in our world. These stones and gems that can make even a common street thug capable of decking out the Incredible Hulk. ISO 8, as we've come to call it, comes in many forms, and we have been able to refine them to help both you and your allied heroes. Heroes will be able to equip up to 8 different basic ISO gems into their uniforms as they level up, granting them increased stats depending on the color crystal. Each color goes with a particular stat increase: red for attack and accuracy, yellow for defense and evasion, and blue for health and stamina. The other colors will combine those stats as well, and it's easy to tell what they'll offer. For example, an orange ISO can offer any combination of attack, accuracy, defense, and evasion, as it has traits of both the red and yellow crystals, though they won't offer as strong as an enhancement as a red or yellow would do for those stats alone. White combines all the stats together and offers even more combinations, but at a weaker benefit than any of the others. Sometimes though, this weaker benefit is more beneficial to you and your heroes than the single benefits would be alone. Along with the basic ISOs, we have Empowered ISOs, or EISOs, and Augmented ISOs, or AISOs. These are special ISOs that are harder to obtain and are a bit more specific than the basic kind. While there are some that can still be equipped to anyone, a vast majority of them can only be equipped to a specific hero, often enhancing their abilities. Empowered ISOs will give the hero another passive ability, and they can equip up to 2 of them at a time unless the hero is in an alternate uniform. These ISOs are normally found in heroic battles that involve the hero. Augmented ISOs will affect a hero's attacks instead of their passive abilities, often allowing their attacks additional powers or effects. Heroes must reach level 4 to equip one EISO, whereas the second one will unlock at level 13. AISOs can be equipped to a hero once they reach level 8, but only to one attack at a time. Once they reach level 14, they're capable of equipping all 4 of their attacks with an AISO. AISOs are most commonly found among a battle in which a hero is a team-up. But how to know what is effective for a hero, and what the proper crystals are for them? Well, Agent, I'll tell you, but that will be saved until next time. Until then, dismissed! I hope you all enjoyed this little video of me trying to give you all a breakdown and what to do in Marvel Avengers Alliance, and I hope you'll join the game as well as play along. If you want to see other videos, try checking out my Let's Play alongside my friends when we went through Castle Crashers, or if you're a League nerd, check out some of my fail and somewhat okay League videos. I particularly like this Trundle one.